don't need to join. Because what'll happen, gentlemen, is we're going to do a team build, and then you guys are going to battle it out, and Vroom Vroom will take off the headset and do a set of 3, so that way you don't have to watch his screen, and you can just build and battle.
I think Vroom sold me on the normal cast form.
Vroom sold me on normal cast form, too. Are all 3 of us sold on cast form?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For sure.
For sure.
What color should I go with for...
We want to do Beedrill. It seemed like Beedrill. So we've got cast form. It seemed like Beedrill was on our minds here. Is that something we want to play, or do we want to go and maybe fill the Galvantula role right now?
I could see either, to be honest.
Okay. Do we want to throw both?
I don't know about that.
Okay. This is not the play for Double Bug.
Yeah, I think they might kind of play a similar role to each other.
They're both anti-fighters. Like, I think that's what you care about. I think Beetle could be interesting because, like, I don't think Chestnut is gonna be like super meta, but like Beetle, like, it's definitely one of the harder counters to cast form in this meta. So, like, if you're trying to cover cast form, like, Beetle could do a slightly better job.
Cool. All right. So then, ooh, the shiny B2, and you've mega evolved it at one point, my man. I will throw out. I'm gonna throw out then a Pokemon we did not talk about. It's not part of our core, but we've got 2 core Pokemon here that protect each other. So I'm gonna throw a 3rd one out. I'm gonna put out Minun. I really like Minun this entire wave with Ember Cup. It's pretty tanky. It definitely takes the hits, but it also has access to the energy ball. But it's one of those electrics where a lot of electrics are very fragile and frail and can't take a hit. Like, you can swap in and catch something and soak up the energy with Minun and flip the matchups there. So I would like to suggest Minun, but gentlemen, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think it adds bulk to compared to most of the other electric types, and quick attack, as Vroom said, every normal hits everything for neutral in this meta, so quick attack, very solid fast move now after it recently got buffed.
So Vroom, are you good with Minun being added to the team too?
For sure. It's
awesome.
It's a pretty neutral pick.
And I have one built.
Yay! Vroom, what do you suggest as our 4th Pokemon?
I think one ground type could be really interesting. Like, it could be either, I think K-Slash could be interesting, or Nidoking. Like Source of Flow really sold me on the Nidoking as well. Like, I feel that not a lot of Pokemon that directly hard counter it. So, like, one of the ground types, I think Rice can decide like what he wants.
Yeah.
We could also consider Donphan.
Donphan is interesting. Yeah.
Counter,
You need a
Charmer.
Yeah.
Is it gonna rock
It
Charm?
does seem-
Normal cast.
I'll-
No, not
It
Charm.
does. Interestingly, Donphan does seem to beat like at least cast form and Beetle pretty convincingly, and it has I would say it has a neutral matchup with Minun because of the Crash Knot. So like it could definitely be interesting.
All right, so Donphan. Let's throw a Donphan in there. Do you have a Donphan, Rise?
I'm actually
And-
not sure.
Do we have?
Oh, I don't. I don't. Oh, I wanted to use it.
Are you going hunting for one this weekend?
I don't think I have a Nidoking either.
Oh no, my guy, my heart. Oh, cruel world. So then K-Slash it is.
Oh my gosh, I guess. No,
No,
and
there's
this
nothing
wasn't
wrong
on
with it.
purpose. This
No,
wasn't
no.
on purpose.
I never thought that this would be on purpose. Who would
I
have
actually
built?
wanted to use. I thought Donphan looked kind of fun, but no, Nidoking too looks cool.
Yeah, Donphan looks really fun. I'm really excited actually for Shadow Donphan coming out this weekend. Okay, so that's 4 Pokemon. We are looking kind of weak to any fighter typing.
And ice.
And
And
ice.
ice.
So what are we doing here? Would we want a fire Pokemon then? Would maybe say a Talonflame or
Vroom's Arcanine.
Or Vroom's Arcanine, right?
If I have one.
If you have one built, Rise, don't tease us about Arcanines.
I think we
do have a
covered
Talon,
ground. We covered ground and ice, I think, and counter. Like so, Talonflame makes a lot of sense here. We're
Yeah.
already so good versus other electrics like with Sandslash and Minun and Beetle. So like Talonflame really fits in pretty well.
Yeah, I like.
And for that last pick, if we rock with this Talon, what about one of the psychic types, like the Girafarig or the Zubat?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm actually gonna throw out Orangaroo to you guys
Ooh.
and see what your thoughts are on the Orangaroo with the confusion that normal psychic typing. Like I said, two real Shadow Claw users in Beware and Zangoose. And I've seen Orangaroo play at the beginning. It was really good. Now, not for nothing, I don't think we have a debuffer in our group. We talked about this entire meta being debuff meta, and I don't think we have a debuffer in our group. But Maurice could be nice. Yeah, we have our own debuffer, but yeah, we don't have any psychic. Maybe we should go with the Zubat or the Girafarig here, gentlemen. If this meta is asking for that as the top 10 battlers.
I think Confusion Girafarig sounds really good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Get confusion on the giraffe.
Get confusion. Yeah, see, Giraffe
Tackle.
also has tackle. Like, that's
Yeah, so-
insane.
I looked at that because I was like, because
Yeah.
it's a stab tackle. And I looked at the Matrix, and
So
it
bad.
just drops
It's-
a lot of matchups.
I
Yeah.
think it loses 20 more matchups than Confusion. Like, Confusion's up there, and then it's Confusion, then it's Double Kick. I think Double Kick loses 5 matchups compared to Confusion. But it depends on how you're playing Confusion and Double Kick for your Girafarig. But then you look at Tackle, and Tackle's just like, oh, no. Like, don't even do it. It's so bad. Like, it doesn't even play properly. So I like that team. That is a really nice Polkadot team there. For a test drive, gentlemen, let's take it for a run.
Let's go.
Do you have?
There first once we see the acceptance. Did you get it?
Yep, got it.
Okay. We are about to get into the matchup now. We have built this wonderful team of Minun, Girafarig, Castform, Talonflame, Beedrill, and Sandslash. We have the world finalists of Season 4 battling out this tester run that we have all built together for the Polkadot Cup. It is a wonderful team filled with a lot of coverage. We saw, and as we were building there, good against fighters, good against poisons. It's got a debuffer. We gave it, made sure to follow everything we talked about all season with our core Pokemon. We've got 2 core Pokemon that we suggested for the team. I think 3. So Rise and VroomVroomPow will be battling this out, and at the end of this battle of 3, after all 3 battles are done, both of the battlers will come in and we'll talk about how they felt with this team and what they can do to move forward. So get ready, folks, as we are live into it. It is Rise with the Beedrill into the Castform, and that normal Castform getting off those tackles. Look at the damage that the Poison Jab is doing. Now, both of these Pokemon have tons of energy and are ready to throw. The first move is coming off of Rise. We'll see if Vroom wants to give a shield. No shield given. And this is really good. Again, we talked about shield pressure being really important here in this meta. So the Weather Ball Rock would be super effective. The Bee puts up the shield and the Castform's off the table. Here come the Mud Shots, and the super effective Mud Shots can't generate that Night Slash fast enough. An immediate throw again from Rise. X-Scissor does with X-Scissor does, and Vroom Vroom. Oh! Rise makes a beautiful catch. Vroom Vroom staying in there with the energy. The Night Slash comes in, makes the counts, and Vroom Vroom procs on Rise. Vroom Vroom said, oh, you're going to proc on me? Sure thing, bud. Let me get it to you first. The battlers are having a good laugh. The Rock Tomb. Wow, look at the damage. And the debuff now, so we'll see what a normal Weather Ball could do, whether it draws a shield or not. Yes, it does not, and it does enough. The Rock would have kept it alive. The normal typing does, and normal cast form still around. And here comes the Girafarig. And it is Confusion Girafarig, not Double Kick Girafarig. Confusion still doing a nice chunk. The Weather Ball comes through and does about half of the health. And in comes the Arcanine, and off goes the first charge move. The Fire Fangs coming through hot. That beast of a Pokemon. The default comes, and in comes the Confusions chunking away. But not enough in time, as the Fire Fangs are just going to chew up this entire meta. Woo! Arcanine Fire Fang chewing it up. Rise to the occasion, rocking that beautiful championship Bidoof headpiece that he's got on his head of his avatar. On top of those really cool Delibird gloves. Nothing else special about his avatar except for that Regionals 2023 or 2022. We'll have to find out. I don't know if we can see the back yet. Rise, one of the only other battlers in the world besides Zardy to have both 2022 and 2023 World Championship shirts, as they are both 2-year back-to-back championship regional winners. Rise, though, contemplating the team, we found that fire really did put a lot of work down. That closing Fire Fang really did hurt. We'll have to see how it plays out. The proc didn't help either, but I don't feel like the proc turned the entire matchup like it did in Ember. Where in Ember Cup, if you proc'd on your Quillfish, it like went off. I don't feel like, not Quillfish, if you proc'd on something in Ember, it like went off and you're basically done. I don't feel the same way here. I felt like the proc happened, but it didn't really put that much crazy pressure down. So we are locked in on the teams. We'll see what they do as their adjustments as we get Cast Form lead into Cast Form lead. Looking like Cast Form is leading the way for Polkadot Cup as you are trying to understand this new meta. And there it is, the Galarian Rapidash. We've seen it numerous amounts of times this Psychic Cup. A lot of battlers feel comfortable with it this last week. Maybe it's something you look into as well when playing on your team. But here comes the first Weather Ball. And oh, unshielded! That normal typing, putting on that top neutral damage. Galarian Rapidash, although beautiful, can't take a hit. The body slam does put that pressure down again, but nothing that thick cast form. This is what we were talking about earlier. Cast form can really soak up the energy and take that damage. It's a beautiful normal typing that can last the meta. It is one of those tanks out there for you in a meta where there aren't that many tanks. So you want to find these Pokemon out there that can help you like that, and in comes the Blaziken. Blaziken doesn't want to see any sort of Weather Ball, whether it's rock or normal, so it should give up a shield, and doesn't, as half the health is gone now. In comes the Confusion user, and goodbye Blaziken. I don't know if a Confusion snuck through, but it would devastate Blaziken in 3 taps. The Psychic Fang coming in. Girafarig feeling really strong here as your like closer or your bring-in by letting your lead die. I like that. Whatever feints, just coming in immediately with Girafarig for Confusions down. Cast Form again, throwing the Weather Ball, Rock, and Mining. We had talked about earlier in this team building that it's tanky, can soak up energy, help flip matches. We learned this in Ember Cup. And we're gonna take that Weather Ball down to the wire. There he goes, tapping his charge move. Will he finally get a shield? These battlers holding on to their shields here. In a meta where shields are going to be real prominent and real necessary here. Girafarig is back, and Confusion's that cast form out, and Confusion might come back. It's here. It's finally here. Who needs shields when you have Confusion? Confusion was a huge player back in Season 1 of Sylph, And it's kind of fallen off with the rise of Umbreons, with Ultra Pokemon, with XL Pokemon, because Pokemon can now outlast that confusion, get to their charge moves faster. But in this meta here, confusion seems to be really good. That fast move damage again showing up as key element here in this meta. So really interesting that these two players coming down and throwing their charge move battle Pokemon in the beginning of the line, and then coming off with those fast move damage users in the back of the line. Polkadot Cup, really intricate. Again, all of these 100 Pokemon, so many choices. Dustox and Venomoth out there with confusion. Golduck with confusion. Golduck would have loved to have seen the Arcanine as it's the mine into the Arcanine. And look at that Fire Fang damage. This is just beautiful. Building up. And then the charge move comes in. What will Vroom do? Not gonna shield. We can see that discharge still takes about half of Arcanine's health, so you could take a discharge before you get to your charge moves. Not a bad thing, especially when we've been worried about whether or not shields will be valuable. Super valuable. The wild charge goes, but mine stays alive. The tankiness of Minun right there. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, but he made the swap. No one saw that swap come in, as Castforms takes the brunt end of a discharge, and now it's Castform on Castform, and we are just looking at a good advantage now for our Castform, catching the wild charge and the discharge and dipping. Vroom's Castform's in a huge disadvantage. Now, Rise is in the driver's seat, gonna throw the Weather Balls. Both battlers just rocking the weather balls, as Castform full throwing his balls up in the air, whether it's full of weather or energy. He's going to hit you with a ball. And it's the, I would say, rock type version of that ball. I did not see that. Look at what confusions do. Oh my goodness. Like 1/16 the Castform's health is gone. Jumpluff is finally on the field, and we talked about tanky Pokemon. We cannot forget about tanky fairy grass type Jumpluff, who got that fairy win, has acrobatics, the community day, energy ball, play rough, Moonblast. It's Aerial Ace is the last one too. So acrobatics, energy ball, and Moonblast are the key elements. Oh, tried to make a catch, and Rise was like, no, I'm holding on to the energy. Oh my goodness, the giraffe hasn't looked this good since Sinister Cup, and it is looking like it could be the king of this meta. There is still plenty of energy on the Jumpluff, and a shield still for Rise, and a mine in there in the back. Woo, look at that debuffed damage. There it is. One shield, and he can just let that confusion go through. GG's battlers. And he had the Psychic Fang ready to go. So that was really good, gentlemen. How did you both feel about that? Yeah.
Jeez.
I kind of realized that the only real check to my confusion user was the Rapidash. So I just kind of saved 2 shields for it in the back the last 2 games and just kind of tapped my way to victory. But also the Arcanine, very very threatening if it gets on the right thing, and the Castforms very, very neutral across the board. So we both brought those every game.
Mm-hmm. Vroom Vroom, how did you feel playing against the line?
I feel that Giraffic was definitely really difficult to deal with, and like it only makes me feel that like what we discussed at the beginning of this stream was probably the right thing. That Giraffic is probably going to be more like important in this meta than like Zubat.
Yeah.
One thing I was trying to maybe like utilize all of my Pokemon like the Rapidash and the Jumpluff, one thing I realized is that like in both of my losses, I felt that I really needed to have Sandslash on my team, like in my lineup C, like in both the games. I didn't use it because I wanted to use the other mons. I wanted to make sure like
Yeah.
I try out every single mon. But like so like here like I really agree with Rise. Like I understand like why Rise made Sandslash, like why he hyped up Sandslash so much and why he picked it out to be like his main core. Like it seems really good in this meta. It seems like it can core break a lot of things. It can stain versus cast form. And finally, I feel I think all of us could see like how strong cast form is in this meta. Like like just the weather ball from cast form like hits Blaziken so hard. Like it's really dangerous.
I completely agree. The cast form was so good. The confusion was so strong. I was shocked how much damage it did to the cast form because of that normal typing. Like even without the debuff, like confusion was so good. So it's gonna be really interesting as we go through the meta. What Pokemon brings confusion, like will bring confusion, and who will bring other Pokemon, because there are plenty of confusion users out there besides Girafarig. So you could have Girafarig as a double kicker. Now, Rise, did you feel like you wish you would have had Girafarig as a double kick, or did you feel like confusion was just as good?
Confusion was definitely better.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, so it's a good call with the Minun because even against like Sandslash, it actually doesn't do that bad, right? Assuming it's Rock Tomb. Like the Minun's bulky enough where it can take a Rock Tomb, and the Grass Knot coverage, I would have to look at the battle, but like I would think Minun might just straight up beat Sandslash if it's running Rock Tomb. And Minun was pretty dang safe against the whole team, so nice call there with the Minun as the electric type, because the bulkiness and the safety probably a little bit better than like a Galvantula, for example. Maybe Galvantula has like a few more dominant matchups, but Minun definitely kind of a safer pick.
I can't take full credit for the Minun as much as I want to. Rise, I would love to. But I will give it to the battlers I fought against in the factions, the Flash for Everyone tournament I've done, where I got to see the Minun get to play. As you see, I'm the third one with the Luxray, Nidoqueen, Galarian, Rapidash, Galvantula, Sandslash, in normal cast form on this team. Came across a bunch of Minun, really liked it, especially if you're going with something that's like really fragile at your beginning and you need an electric. Yes, Galvantula is numero uno on the list, and so is Luxray, but Minun, man, can soak up that energy. So instead of losing instead of only making it so that your tank is a normal typing neutralist, you can make it so that your tank is an electric type, throwing off on the ground moves and really putting that energy ball pressure down, especially now that it has, again, that tackle and quick attack boost were just so good for it. And yeah, thank you to the battlers. And gentlemen, these are 8 teams that were played this the other night on the 7th now. The 7th practice of Flash for Everybody. These guys have been manipulating teams and growing teams. What are you seeing? Mind you, I'm on the left side. I'm the third one with the 1, 2, 3 Luxray, and the 2 above me are challengers. So just so you're aware, is the top 2 ahead of that team is challenger teams, and everybody else are rivals. What are you seeing on teams?
Quite a few Gals. I'm not seeing any Beedrill. There's one Beedrill. Not as many Beedrills as I would expect. And only one Dugong. So I'm actually seeing quite a bit of like variety in this meta versus maybe I've really enjoyed Ionic. There's been some variety, and Ember was kind of like, it was a good neutral meta, but there wasn't much variety at all. But based off this sample size of 8 teams, seems like a nice bit of variety.
Vroom, sir?
Yeah, I think I agree. And what I think 2 picks, like one in particular that I like notice is the Chestnut. like and after being cornered, so like I was already thinking like what like the first thing I would do after like a loss would be like what could I have in my team that would make it better, like so like Chestnut or Serpedier like could completely shut down Minen, for example. So they definitely seem good, and I can see I can see like Araquanid, which could be interesting because it can really help out against the Girafferic. So while like in a game of three, like something like Girafferic or Minen or like my Arcanine, they look really good. But the reality is like if you look at the wider meta, like you can obviously carry picks to like beat them. You can obviously carry Pokemon that handle them very well. So I really appreciate seeing Chestnut here. I think
Gentlemen, this has been a lovely team building core workout of Polkadot Cup. Is there anything else you guys want to say? Final thoughts on this meta before we go and raid and wrap this up?
Vroom, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that like it's a fun meta for both kind of players, like players who like to use meta can just run like pretty hard meta, but like players who like to just want to have fun. There's a lot of spicy picks like Pokemon that are not commonly used in PvP that are also good. Like even though Girafferic is really good, like it's still meta enough like that people would really love using it. So like I think it's a good meta that people should try to play if they can. It's maybe not. Maybe some people prefer like Ionic more, like because of the Shadow Beetle and Munchlax. But I think Polkadot is also pretty interesting for sure.
I agree. I think you've got a decent variety of Pokemon, and then a combination of like different styles, like oppressive fast move Pokemon, like I did with the Giraffaric, and then more like charge move based Pokemon with the Jump Bluff. So it can probably suit to like different styles with your team.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It is definitely a fun meta. I think that Ionic was a great smaller version of this, more condensed, but still give you that opportunity to figure out the way you want to play your playstyle. I know that Neutron, you guys love Munchlax. I loved Umbreon. I also know that I loved Greedent. I would have played Greedent over Munchlax too. Like, that is what they were trying to do with Ionic, to get you to see like, yes, these Pokemon, this one meta Pokemon is the way to go, but there are other ways to go around it. And now with Polkadot Cup, it is very open. All of these Pokemon can intertwine with, like we said, with the Galvantula. If you don't want a Galvantula, you can get with the Minun and grab another bug typing and a bug poison type if you want, or a bug confusion type if you want. Like, plenty of ways to build a team around you. And this is going to call for super fun matchups. We're not going to like them. Sometimes you might get hard walled, right? You might be having super fun times and someone might bring that one Pokemon that's going to hard wall everything you do. But the meta is going to be fun. It'll be in-play macro down to the wire there. And I feel like Polkadot Cup is just the bigger version of Ionic, where it's going to be a lot of 1 HP and a Dreams if you're not, prepared for that confusion.
Well said.
That being done and said, VroomVroomPow, thank you for joining me today. The world champion of Season 4 right there. So glad to have you and break down this fourth meta of our Season 5 Sylph and rise to the occasion. I always love having you on. You've always a pleasure. Like, Knoxville champion, world finalist right here. Love you, man. Thank you for joining and giving us your thoughts on the Polkadot Cup and the breakdown and the meta here. Be sure to follow and check them both out on their Twitters and YouTubes. I'll have all that down in the links below. Thank you again to VroomVroomPow and Rise to the Occasion for joining me in the Studio B as we broke down the Polkadot Cup. This team build that we have scores at a 570 on PvPoke, so a great Pokemon team to start on this very intricate team building meta. If you are having some wonderful Pokemon picks out there, I'd love to see it and hear about it. Be sure to leave a comment down below Also, we are going through Polkadot Cup all month, as this is the second month meta for the second wave of Sylph Season 5. So be sure to like or follow and subscribe so you can continue to get all the amazing updates, as I'll be doing in-person tournaments and giving you practice tournaments and see where people are going as the meta is moving. Thank you all for watching Poke Battle Network. I am SosaFlow, and like always, enjoy your battles.